Fatigue is not a sign of weakness, I believe. It's a sign of something that you're missing. It is an information. Your brain needs to understand why you are feeling fatigue. Count everything. Count your practices, count your games, count the strength sessions that you have, count your school. Let's say weekly load does not match a recovery, probably you will feel tired. So availability means, can you play basketball? And if you can play basketball, you feel good. But you do not want to attach your identity, who you are, to playing basketball. If your plan is just to get a professional contract, what if God's plan for you is to be the best in the continent, the best in the country, but your goal was just to get a professional contract? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Basketball, Body, and Mind. Today's episode is special, as always, but today's is special because this is the first time we are doing Ask Me Anything, AMA, episode. So if you're new, so this podcast is for the players who want to develop their basketball skills, their body, physically, and their mind. This is for parents who are looking not for the quick fixes. I mean, sometimes we provide quick fixes if it's a simple issue, but for parents who are looking for long-term solutions and long-term athletes development, and definitely for coaches who want to improve their coaching skills. And as I asked you, and you said to me that you would like to hear these answers, and the topics that we are going to cover today are, first one, about fatigue, why you could be always tired. Second is about the mental side, about how to recover mentally after the injury, or maybe during the injury is important. Number three, about going pro, what actually it means, what you need to focus on. This is also very, very important. And last but definitely not least, a question from a parent that do 6 a.m. workouts are like they're helping or they are hurting? So is it smart or risky decision? So I will provide you what I believe is true. At the same time, I will provide what science says is, let's say, true, but you will decide what you believe is true. So let's start with part number one about fatigue. Why am I always tired? So before we talk about the reasons why, I think it's important for you to understand that fatigue, like we need to reframe the fatigue. Fatigue is not a sign of weakness, I believe. It's a sign of something that you're missing. It is an information. Your brain needs to understand why you are feeling fatigue. The first, of course, obvious reason is I'm just training too much. Maybe you're tired because, yes, accumulative load, but it's not the only reason. So you really need to think outside of the box, and I will provide you some options, what it could be, but use the tiredness as information, not as I'm just tired all the time, like it's hard to wake up and it's hard to run. I don't want to train. Maybe it's a burnout, maybe, but in general, use that as information. So we will start more with the generic advices because probably they are the most important things. But lastly, I'll provide you one that I had a couple of online clients that they had, we trained for conditioning and it never get better. They always felt fatigue. But after they did that, It was like 1 week and they felt completely different. So, number one is, of course, sleep. If you are complaining that you're always tired and you're using your phone before bed, before like in bed, before like going to sleep, like it's blame on you. It's blame on you. If you're not getting enough of hours, nine, if you're a basketball player who plays and competes, who trains and competes, if you're not getting 9 hours in bed, what are we talking about? You don't even have a right. You don't even have a right to say that you're tired because you are not getting to bed early. Okay, I understand that sometimes if you are still going to school, that maybe you had school, after school you went to practice, after practice you got home, you ate, and then you had to do your homework. Okay, if you are sure that you had no extra time, of course, some days will be like that. We don't have option. How can we change it? But if you think that you had no time that day, I challenge you, check your screen time. How many, I will not even say minutes, how many hours did you spend on your phone? And check the apps that you have used mostly. If we are talking 1+ hours of social media, whichever, Snap combined, Snap, Instagram, TikTok, like that's 1 hour. You could do definitely homeworks in 1 hour. And then you can, after you go back from school, you can do your homework, eat, and then go to sleep. So that would be number one. And it's very important that you would go to sleep early. I have talked about sleep a little bit more extensively in the previous episode, so you can check the show notes and you will find a link to there. But in general, think about sleep, that if you are postponing sleep and you say, Stan, I still get 9 hours, I go to bed at 1 a.m. and I wake up at 10. It's different compared to when you get to bed at 10 and woke up at 8 or 7, whatever. That would be 9 hours if you woke up at 7. But what is different, that the first part of the night is the deep sleep. Deep sleep is where our physical recovery is happening. If you had very hard training session, you want to have more of the deep sleep. So you want to go to bed earlier, so you accumulate more of the amount of deep sleep. If you go to bed, as I said in that example, at 1 a.m., probably you will not get that much of deep sleep, and you will be more of the rapid eye movement, REM sleep it's called. So you will not be that recovered, even though you got 9 hours of sleep. So this is important. Sometimes the game starts at 8:30. Yes, you will not be able to go to sleep early on that day, but other days, it's on you. It's only on you. And for sleep, I have to mention very shortly, I don't want to talk too much because you can listen to another episode where I was talking about sleep, but just check. If you are not taking serious your sleep, meaning like prepare your room, make it cool around 18, 19 degrees, 63, 65 Fahrenheit, or 18 to 90 degrees of Celsius. So that is the temperature. I don't want you to use bright light. I don't want you to use your phone. Keep it away. Keep it in another room if you are serious about your recovery. And the most important thing, besides the amount of sleep you're getting, is consistency. Consistency of doing these things. Consistency of going to bed at plus minus 1 hour at the same time and waking up at the same time. Okay? I know you have heard from everyone is saying sleep is important, take care of the sleep. But why don't you take care of the sleep? Maybe because you're young, it's not that important, or at least it doesn't look that important. But you always want to sleep more. And science shows whatever we will measure, if we just sleep more, it gets better. If you're feeling tired, just sleep more. Okay, if we're talking about 10 plus hours during the night, I don't think it will be helpful. No more than 10 if you are above 16 years old. Anyway, so this is what I would say. Number one is that. The second reason why you could be always tired is, of course, the weekly load. Weekly load, you need to add practices, you need to add games, you need to add strength and conditioning sessions. If you're going to school or university, you have to add that also. And maybe you also have commute. Maybe you have some other duties that you need to take care of. So this could be also a reason, a weekly load that is too high for your recovery capabilities. So we have two options. Option one is reduce the weekly load. So you could do that by reducing amount of training sessions, whether we're talking about the strength and conditioning or basketball. We can reduce the amount of games. We can reduce amount of other duties if it's possible. And I mean, school, if you're going to school, you cannot skip classes. I doubt it's possible. So probably that is one thing. And the second thing is we need to improve recovery. Again, step number one, sleep. So if our, let's say, weekly load does not match a recovery, probably you will feel tired. And maybe you're not matching by, I don't know, this is just, like whatever units we are talking. Maybe you are, your load is 100 and your recovery is 80. So you will always be feeling 20 of fatigue. Okay. So think about that they need to match. If you want to don't feel tired that much, but you can either lower one or increase the other one. If you continue pushing, if you continue training, maybe that will lead even to more fatigue. However, it's not always, because now we go to step number 3. The issue could be that you're just not strong enough, that you are not just conditioned enough. Someone who has higher aerobic base, meaning like that long, steady cardio, zone 2 cardio, if they have higher that aerobic base, usually their recovery is better. Usually. I'm not saying that this is an issue for you, but that would be one option. How can you check that? I mean, listen, I cannot say exactly how to check that. You would need to do a VO2 max test with a mask, with the mask that will analyze your gases, how much O2 and CO2 you are exhaling, and all of that, okay? But to keep it simple, I would check what is your heart rate in the morning when you wake up. And if it's below 55 beats per minute, this is the standard that I hold. Medicine would say that if it's below 60, it's not good. But we're not talking about general population. We are talking about basketball players. So if your heart rate is below 55, you're good. If it's above, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if maybe we need to improve aerobic base. But listen, one more time, I'm saying this is not 100% accurate test. This is just one simple test that I would use, and then I would do other tests to double check everything. But that would be one simple that you could check yourself, okay? And how to improve that is just simple. You sit on the bike for 20-30 minutes at easy pace. You can go for a little bit faster walk. That would also be helpful. But in general, we don't do that much because we don't have time to do these with the basketball players, because you already trained so much. So sometimes we skip. With one of my online client, I do that because he really feels fatigue, or he felt fatigue. And when I tested, I saw that his heart rate was 62 when I was measuring that. And then with another test that I did, like he was way above what I expected for his age. So that could be also reason. You're not just conditioned enough. And second, as I said, you're not strong enough. How can you check your strength? There, like, we just need to pick the exercise that we want to test you in. And I'm not talking about the max strength like a back squats or trap bar deadlift. It can be, but just in general, how many chin-ups can you do? Are you doing, if you're above 16 years old, can you do 12? Can you do 30 push-ups like perfect form? Can you do a single leg squat with half of your body weight? Like single leg squat, I'm talking about you're standing on the box, squat to parallels while standing on that one leg and stand up. Why strength is important? Because the stronger you are, the easier for your muscles will be cope with the training load. Of course, on the way when you will be building that, your muscles will be sore. But then your training level will be so high that when you play a game, after the game, your muscles are tired, maybe just 30, 40%, even though you played, 30 minutes. Of course, it's probably impossible, but I'm just saying, like, when you raise the level, your strength level, the recovery will be easier because you don't have to recover from such a big load because you have trained yourself at such a high level. So that is important, and focus on like developing that in off season, but also in season. Because if you are playing 9 months, okay, 8 months plus you have your national teams, we're talking about 10 months of season. And then we have around 6 to 8 weeks of off season, and you expect to prepare your body in those 8 weeks for next 40 weeks. It's impossible. You have to find time to train during the in season, and not only train to maintain, but train to improve. Because this where the gains will happen. And if you want my advice, 2 training sessions a week, no matter how many games you have. You think EuroLeague players or NBA players, they're not lifting because they are playing 4 games a week? No, but I'm tired, Stan. How can I lift? I'm tired. I know. But imagine how tired you will be after 2 months of doing barely nothing. That's the question. You already are training for that level that is coming to you, okay? And last is step number 4. These are 2 things that I want to talk. And one is you have to check your blood work. So this is what I was talking about my 2 online clients that they said, like, my conditioning is off. Can we work more on that? And we worked hard. We would do 4 training sessions for conditioning, like on the bike, running, because it was off season, and nothing improved. And then just before the preseason starts, they did blood measurements, and they saw that they were very low in iron. So they took iron supplements, and within 1 week, they felt like on the wings, with wings flying easy. So that was for me like, let's say eye opener that, okay, all of those are very important, but at the same time, we need to check the blood. Maybe the issue that you just need to supplement a little bit of that, okay? But you can only know if you will check. So check vitamin D, blood. If everything is okay, maybe you can retest yourself after 6 months and double check. If it was not okay, probably you will need to come back 2-3 months after just to check if the levels of iron or vitamin D is improving. And another thing that I said is important, maybe your body fat level is too low. Because on the recovery, when we sleep, when we sit, when we don't do anything, our body for recovery will use mostly fat. And if you don't have enough of fat, maybe the recovery processes are hindered and they are kind of slowed down, and that's why you're not recovering well. That would be another thing. How to check your body fat? Good question. I don't know how to do that online. If we physically meet, I could test that and I could tell you. Or, you can look at the picture of you. I would like you to be around 9%. Maybe you could even take a picture of yourself, put it in ChatGPT or whichever AI you're using, and just ask, based on everything you know, how many percentages of body fat I have. And if you are position number 1, 2, 3, 4, I would like you to be around 9, not higher than 10. If you are center, I would be not higher than 11. I would advise you to be not higher than 11. So these would be my answers for you if you are feeling tired. So let's go now to the second question. And second question is, how do I get my head right after getting hurt? It's important because it's like, unfortunately, but injuries are part of sport, and they are part of basketball also. If like whenever somebody gets hurt, even if it's just a tiny ankle sprain and they cannot train for like a week or two, I ask them, do you want to minimize your injury risk almost to zero? And they're like, yes, I want to. I said, but probably you will not still do it. And what is that, Stan? Stop playing basketball. I mean, it's obvious, but if you will stop and you will not do any sport, most likely you will get hurt once or twice in your lifetime, depending on activity, your level of activity. But in general, you will minimize your risk of injury. But you guys never choose that. You love basketball more than getting hurt. So it's fine for you to get hurt. But the issue is, as this person asked, like, when I get hurt, what I can do then? Like, how can I mentally recover from that? So it's important for us to understand two things: identity and availability. So availability means, can you play basketball? And if you can play basketball, you feel good. But you do not want to attach your identity, who you are, to playing basketball. If I were you, I would have my identity attached to work ethics, taking care of my body, to the habits, mindset, character. Like I always find a way. No matter what, I show up. No, like, I'm with crutches, I cannot do anything, I still go to the weight room because it's part of my identity. I cannot do anything for my, let's say, right leg because it's broken, but I can do another leg, I can do upper body, I can do core. Whenever doctor or physiotherapist allows you to do that, that's who you are. You are not only basketball player. Like, I mean, I would not attach my identity whatsoever to basketball. I would choose something that would lead me or guide me forward. So this is what I would say to you. And because injury will remove you from playing basketball. It will remove that availability. But imagine your identity is still, I still work hard. I watch film. I study the games. So that would be one, that you are not attaching yourself to only like being able to play basketball. Second advice would be, stay involved with the team. Like, attend to practices whenever you can. Watch film if the team is watching. Still be part of their team. And maybe you have a strength coach, so you will do rehab with him or her. Maybe if you don't have a strength coach there, maybe you just sit and watch whatever team is doing on the sidelines, and you do some core exercises or upper body or lower body because maybe you broke your hand. So whatever you do, you just train. And you are staying involved with the team. Maybe it's even possible for you to travel with the team. If it's not too difficult. If you broke your, I don't know, like femur or I hope not, but or tibia, and it's very difficult for you to travel in the bus, maybe that would not be the best thing. But if something not so serious and the traveling is not that difficult, I would even go to the away games with the team, because staying involved will lift you up. You will be around your friends. You will be around people. So socializing will also help your mental side to keep moving forward. And since you are not playing basketball, like you still want to progress, and maybe before you got injured, you were progressing, let's say in 3-point shots, in free throws, or in your skill work, you were working on something, but you need to redefine, maybe I would say, what the progress is for you now. Like, okay, my progress maybe will be 4 training sessions a week in the weight room, or my progress will be that I want to get to that many chin-ups, or my progress will be how many games I will study per week. I will write down, like my progress will be that I will analyze my games, I will watch how I played, I will write down what I think I could have done better, and I will be taking that, writing will be my progress. And whenever I will get healthy, I will work on those things. So there are many things that you can do when you are injured, and you need to find the way of progressing. Because I think Tony Robbins says that the happiness, if he says, like, if I could summarize happiness in one word, it would be progress. What does it mean? Like happiness in basketball, happiness in finances, happiness in relationships, whatever you want, truly want, you just make even a little step forward that day and you will feel happier. So if you want to feel happier or more satisfied about your current state, even though you're not able to play basketball, find where you can progress. Because if you do not do that, what is the other option you have? Quit basketball. Because when you will come back, and if you say, okay, I'll just, something happened to my ankle, like maybe like a bad ankle sprain, or maybe like a knee tweak, like you're out, let's say 3 months, 4 months, you will come back. Of course, your basketball will be off because you did not train for 4 months. But maybe your game understanding, maybe you will know all the plays, maybe the strength level, everything will be so good that you will be, you know what? I will just train basketball. I will train everything, but my focus will be on basketball because now it's a limiting factor for me. So you will be able to devote much more time to basketball because everything else improved. You had time to work on those other areas, on the basketball, body, and mind. You had time to work on your body. You had time to work on your mind. So when you will come back, you will have time to work on your basketball. So this would be my advice. And later, when you will be back on the court, listen, don't rush. Don't rush. What I mean by that, your nervous system will be might be thinking I'm good. I will push as hard as I can. I'll sprint. I'll do extra runs. I'll do extra shots, whatever. I'll just make everything extra. But your body will not be there yet. You need to give your body time. And the most important thing is that you would do slowly, progressively, load. You start maybe with, 5 times court jogs down and back. Next day you come, you're feeling great, you do 8 times. Next time you come, you do 12, and so on until you reach, I don't know, let's go 80. 80 is something that the max I do is 80 down and back court sprints. Yes, I would say like this. So, as you have noticed, I always try to give you some black and white answers, but of course it always depends. But 80, I would never go more than, I said never. Most likely, always, I will not go more than 80. Anyway, so this would be my advice for mental recovery after the injury. Okay, so now let's go to the question number 3 is, I want to go pro. What should I be doing? Everyone wants to go pro. I think Cristiano Ronaldo said, many people want to be something. Don't quote me like on this, but he said something along the lines, everyone wants to be like me, but people don't want to do what I did. He said, I give you the map. You can do what I did, and most of you will still not do that. So if your goal is to go pro, like everyone would like to, I mean, everyone listening probably, if you are a basketball player, you want to go pro. That's your goal. But this is maybe a little bit relatable to the previous, as I said, like availability versus identity. So if your goal will be just to go pro and you will maximize your chances of going pro by only thinking about that, I think it's not the best case. What would be better choice for you is focus on the habits, focus on the recovery, focus on routines that you need to develop, what like a professional basketball player does. Go to ChatGPT and ask what, let's say, routines or what habits I need to, or skills also, I need to develop in order to maximize my chances of going pro. And you will see what they will say, that you will need to sleep, you will need to eat, you will need to train basketball and body and mind, you will need to do recovery, and you will need to repeat. Simple as that. You don't need to do much, but you need to do those basics consistently. So you need to focus on those things. And if you focus just on one area, let's say you hard focus on basketball and your body and your mind will be lacking, what if you will get That's what we do in Lithuania. I don't know if you noticed last time what I did, that I spit on my left 3 times. So God, I hope you will not get injury. But this is, you need to, if your body will not be ready for the basketball skills that you are developing, it will break. What will you do then? Body is lacking, mind is off, you're feeling not there, you'll stop playing basketball, because when you will come back, you will not have that professional mindset that, hey, I know that I'm lagging right now, but I will surpass them. I will do whatever it takes. You know, I will again develop my routines and habits, or maybe you will not even maybe you will not even change your habits. You will still continue waking up early. You will still continue working out. You will still continue studying film, because that's what the professional basketball player does. If you don't do those things, how can you expect become professional? Unless you are gifted, like extraordinary in something. Otherwise, you will need to develop those things. You will need to develop your basketball skills. You will need to develop your physical skills, your body, like vertical jump, your first step, body mass, and you will need to work on your mind. If you will not develop those things, you will not become professional. You cannot expect that only doing basketball will help you. Of course it will help, but it will not lead you to the professional career. Because most likely something will go not as you planned. And what will you do then if you put all the eggs in one basket? So develop those habits of sleep. Find a way how to eat, how to get more proteins. If you are lacking body mass, have those snacks ready. Like in the evening, prepare your food. So when you wake up and you go to school, you just take your lunchbox and you have your snacks ready. I met one player, we had a training session, and I said, like, you need to gain mass. And I said, have you had like a snack before you came to the weight room? And he said, no, I came here right after school. And I said, it was like for me, second time meeting him. And I was like straightforward for him. I said, this is excuse. It will not get you better. Said you need to pack your food. Or okay, if you don't want to pack, go to grocery store and buy some protein bar or bananas, apples, whatever you can carry in your backpack. Because this is important. Sleep, eating is important. Then we are talking about training. If you, as I said, if you're training only basketball, it will not help you. You need to train your body also. And you don't need to train only vertical jump. Your goal is to have as little injuries as possible. You also need to train smart. And then we repeat. And then we repeat again. And then we repeat that for all week, for a month, for a year. That's how you will find your potential. And I want to finish with this. If your plan is just to get a professional contract, what if God's plan for you is to be the best in the continent, the best in the country, but your goal was just to get a professional contract? I don't remember in which episode, but in one episode, the guest said, it's very sad when I see young players, when they make to the best team, let's say in the country, and they are slacking, that I'm good, sitting on the bench. They don't want to train that much extra anymore because they're already in the best team. But what if your plan is way less than your capabilities? What God, whatever destiny, universe had for you planned. So the only way to find that out is to develop the routines, work on your habits, on your mindset, work on all of those things that I mentioned. And now let's go to the part number 4, or question number 4, the 6 a.m. workouts. Should you be doing those 6 a.m. skill sessions before school? The question that, first of all, definitely it comes from either Kobe Bryant or from David Goggins. Because when somebody sees training early, they assume that guy is working hard. What if that guy trained once a year at 6 a.m., post on Instagram, and you are training once, let's say a week, and you're like, I'm not training, like many times. I need to train more. No. So don't fall into this trap of comparison. We also have talked about that. But the question that I want you to ask, if we are doing 6 a.m. workout, not will it look good on Instagram or TikTok? Of course it will look good. But the question is, what does it cost? Does it cost your sleep? Meaning that instead of sleeping for 9 hours, you sleep for 6 or 7. So it steals that. If you are someone who is still growing, maybe your basketball skills will improve, but maybe your height will not improve as much as the height could. So would you rather have better basketball skills and be smaller, or would you rather be taller and later develop those basketball skills? Because cutting sleep is not an option. So you don't even need to listen further. If you are not getting enough of sleep, but you want to do 6 a.m. workouts, it's definitely no-go. Definitely no. Even like injury risk will be significantly higher if you are not sleeping enough. And enough, I mean 9 hours in bed, or 8.5 hours of sleep. So that's definitely is not working. When 6 a.m. workouts can work is first when you are sleeping enough. So that's number 1. Number 2 is when total load, as we were talking previously, is manageable and controllable. So you are not feeling that there is too much for you to do. So it's important. Maybe you will do 6 a.m. workouts when you have vacation, when there's no school, like school break. Maybe you will have easier school that day, or maybe you will not have a training session later that day, like team practice. So that's why you're doing 6 a.m. workout. This also is important. Another thing, you still want to, let's say everything is checked until now, but you still want to do those 6 a.m. workouts, but you don't do any strength and conditioning. So maybe at 6 a.m. you need to wake up and do strength and conditioning, because that is the limiting factor for you. Not the skill work, because you're already training 4 times or 5 times a week with your team, but maybe doing some push-ups, some lunges, some pull-ups, planks. Keep it simple. If you don't know what to do, text me. I'll help you with some easy plan, okay? Because that could be a limiting factor. But let's assume that you still, but you are doing that strength and conditioning, but you still want to do those 6 a.m. workouts. So then we have to have no signs of fatigue. I don't want you to feel tired all week, and then next week you will be, you know what? Let's do a little bit more of training. I think that is a smart thing to do, and I will be good. So if you are not recovering and you are feeling fatigue, extra skills will not help. You need to sleep more. Okay, so that is important. So again, if you feel no signs of fatigue, under these conditions, I believe 6 a.m. can work. So one more time, shortly, I will repeat. When you are sleeping 9+ hours, when total weekly load is controlled, like school, basketball sessions are controlled, when you already are training strength and conditioning at least twice a week, and when there's no signs of chronic fatigue. You can be like tired if you had hard training session yesterday and today you have a 6 a.m. workout. I mean, you might be fatigued, but it's not chronic fatigue that is building week after week after week. And if you are good with all of these, then under these conditions, those 2 sessions a week, morning sessions a week, might be beneficial. I'm not 100% sure, but might be beneficial. But then we need to talk about what you do in that skill work. Do you do just extra dribbling? If that is your limiting factor on the basketball court, that could work, maybe. If you add some, small-sided games to improve of your dribbling, decision-making, that can work. But if you are, showing up just because to show up in 6 in the morning, like Michael Jordan's Breakfast Club, no, definitely no. So then last question to ask yourself about these 6 a.m. Psychologically, check yourself. Why 6 in the morning? Is it just because Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, David Goggins? Be honest with yourself. Maybe you can do a workout at 10 a.m. Maybe there is no school. Why do you need to wake up early? So these would be the answers to the questions that I have. And to summarize this into 3 key takeaways, as always, number 1 would be that fatigue, tiredness is information, not weakness. You need to check in your brain the reasons why you are feeling tired. And the answer sometimes will not be, I just need to rest more. Maybe you need to train more. Maybe you need to take care of those sleeping and eating habits. Number 2 would be the availability and identity, that you need to separate those. You cannot think about yourself just a basketball player. You need to think about yourself as a person who works hard and have this identity. Whether you will become a professional basketball player or not, but you will have your identity tied to someone who works hard and smart, someone who finds the way, always the way, someone who improves no matter the conditions. You will succeed. Trust me, sometimes success comes in different ways and forms that we do not even expect. And lastly, number 3, key takeaway: stop chasing the outcome of becoming a pro, or stop chasing finding the contract. Be professional before you become professional. So you have to live like a professional basketball player. This is how it starts. It's not that you will become professional when you sign a contract. No, like between strength coaches, sometimes we have like if somebody, let's say, trades a player and you get in the team a new player, but you know the strength coach from another team that he came from, you text to the player, you text to the coach and ask about the player. And if coach responds, he's professional, you know that you will need to work very little with the person. By saying that he is professional, you know that he will take care of the sleep. He's serious about weight room, that he is serious about doing those simple things daily. You just know that he's professional. Signing a contract or earning money from playing basketball is not that professionalism. No, the way you live. I'm not even a basketball player, but I consider myself as a professional because I do these simple things. So I want you to challenge yourself and be professional before you sign your first contract. So thank you for listening. I hope you like these Ask Me Anything. If you have always any question, text me. Okay, next I will write down the questions. Next time I will answer more if we will have more of those. Definitely subscribe and follow if you like this episode. Also share it with a friend who's feeling always tired. And I really, really appreciate everyone listening. But for now, keep training basketball, body and mind.